I'm getting asked, we can hear you. Well, I know.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call our meeting to order. December 13th, 2023. And who all, roll call?
To our members, you're hereby notified a special called meeting of the tree committee is hereby called to be held December 13th, 2023 at the City Hall Annex. Here, 205 North Second Street, the meeting is called to commence at 4 o'clock. Purpose of the meeting is to make recommendations concerning the celebration of Arbor Day 2024. Roll call is as follows: Earl Wallace,
Here.
Carolyn Smith,
Here.
Julio Perez,
Here.
Nicole Grace, here, Blake Josephson's not present for the record, and Chair Valentine.
Here.
Will Jones, Commissioner Liaison, is not present for the record.
Thank you. We'll move on into approval of minutes from December 5th, 2022.
Supposed to say, as I recall.
I move we approve the minutes as presented.
Is there a second? Minutes are approved. We'll go on into public comments if there's anybody here. Of course, we'll limit it to 3 minutes. Anybody publicly wants to make any comments or say anything?
I believe Mr. Wallace indicated he had a public comment.
Say again,
Mr. Wallace has a public comment.
You have a
about
comment?
what?
Your
Arbor Day.
tree garden club tree.
Oh, yeah, our garden, I guess this is public. Our garden club is gonna put a ball cypress we've already bought. And, we're gonna put it on the riverfront in that vacant hole up there between the, park and the, submarine monument. Between the sidewalk and the river, the bulkhead in the river. And, I'd like to put a little plaque on it, that says Garden Club of Palatka, Arbor Day, and the date.
So we're looking at,
I've already tentatively gotten an agreement from the mayor and the city manager. Were you in there that day, Randy? I mean, Sonny? So, it's good to go. If we bought the tree. It's nice ball cypress.
it is,
So we bought the tree. We got the location. We've got permission. What else, Sonny?
Do you know a date you're planning?
A date, the afternoon, we do the, one at the, community college or state college.
How are you gonna water it?
Out
How are you going to water it?
of the river.
No, I'm asking in all seriousness because I've noticed several of the new tree plantings down at Riverfront have died due to lack of water.
No, we'll keep it watered.
Okay.
I've been dumping it's not a 5 gallon, it's a short mud bucket, so that's probably what, 3 gallons. I've been putting 3 gallons on it, every day until this rain started, so. You know, I'll go down there with the bucket. Dip up 5 gallons, pour in there.
There's a plastic sleeve that you can put around the base of the tree that would provide water and it wouldn't require.
Yeah, except that's if you can't water it.
Right.
And not knocking our city park maintenance people. But they love to take that weed eater and shred that thing, and they're not cheap. And they will shred it up. I'll guarantee you by the time they clean around it twice, there won't be anything left. Tell them Earl said.
So,
Well, you have Del McMillan on, so.
Okay.
so will we be providing anything to protect the lower trunk from weed whacking?
I don't think it needs it, does it, Keith? Keith is an arborist.
There is about 18 inches on both sides of the base of it. So if they put it in, then they shouldn't have any mowers hitting it or any reason to weed eat around it. They will need to weed it by hand at times, but if they won't let the grass grow in, they won't have to weed eat.
Our garden
Base of
club
that
will
tree.
keep it weedy. Is that a word, weedy?
Yeah.
But we'll.
Thank you. For the record, Blake Joseph is right.
We will take care of that. And there is if you're afraid that it's gonna be damaged or dehydrate, you could put a tape around it that, you know, I'm sure Keith's got a name for that stuff, but it's a florist type tape, you know, that you wrap the trunk in of a tree to keep it from dehydrating. Yeah, there's a forest, you know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah, I think it's called like pruning tape or something.
Yeah, pruning tape, that's what it's called.
Earl, is there irrigation in the area that you want to put the tree?
St. John's River.
No, is it up on the grass?
Oh, there is, all over the park. We've spaced it all out. I didn't do it. But we spaced it all down through there. There's water and there's electric.
Those are irrigation system there. What I'm trying to think is the tree should be good. The cypress tree should be good with the amount of water to get it started. It's not rooted in.
there's a spring. Do you know where they are, Julio? There's a sprinkle on these. I think, to hear that in down on the riverfront there. I think the whole riverfront is covered with some type of sprinkler system.
Impact.
But anyway, if there's not,
Del went off mute, maybe he knows.
who?
If,
Yeah.
if I
Yeah.
may, so I'm the Public Works Director. Hello, everyone. And you'll have to forgive me. I'm not able to attend in person. I've got a personal engagement I got to make. But yes, there is an irrigation system there. At times, we do turn it off. But if you're looking at for just the establishment period of this tree, I think it would be adequate. It would require essentially just running a tap off the line. It would run at the same time the regular lawn zone for that section works. So essentially, if that proposal is, I guess, entertained by this committee, we would just require a map where you want it, essentially, and then prior to the installation, we just make sure that, any irrigation accommodation, essentially a drip line, that'll serve as a temporary watering method until it is established. We'll put it in place.
Yeah, it should be good enough with the irrigator, even if there's an impact head there, to keep it to a certain point. It's good soil there, so it's not dried out like a sand hill, so it should be fine. So, Earl, I think
Even the sand hill is good for a cypress, because the cypress has got to be on the hill in order to germinate. They don't germinate in water.
But anyway, it should be good. So our question is, you want to have it that day? Are you making a motion to have it after the Arbor Day at the college?
I think Palmer's supposed to be here. I told Palmer to come, but I think we had talked about putting it after the college that day and before Pomona Parks.
So,
Pomona's not that day.
yeah, Interlochen, I think Interlochen
Interlochen
is
is
usually
that
at
day.
noon,
All right, when's Pomona Park?
It's another day.
the week before.
Yeah.
It's the week before.
Week before?
Since you're on that subject, what time?
Can I come back to when we're gonna do it?
I think
Yeah.
this is public comments anyway. I don't think this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's public comment.
Yeah, let me get with Palmer and, verify with him, because in my mind, I had it sandwiched in between the state college and, Pomona's is gonna be late that same day is what I thought, but, it's a different day. So I'm mixed up, and, which is very unusual.
So if the college is early enough that day, we should be all right. Does anybody know what time the college?
10
Susan,
o'clock.
yeah, and Susan's on there.
We haven't got to that portion of the agenda yet.
What time is the college?
10.
10? So it would be after that, and, really, we can get a blurb put in the paper, and, anybody that wants to show up can show up, but I doubt seriously. Carolyn, she looked at me, she'll show up.
Well, you could possibly have it or about 1 o'clock that day, would probably be good just after lunch or something, but it's.
That's good, any time.
Yeah.
Julio will be waiting to
Or maybe
Interlochen.
during the lunch hour, so the people will be on.
Okay.
2 o'clock.
Or like Carolyn said, during lunch hour, and maybe she think downtown and come. But really, nobody gets down but trees, it's just us.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay, so we're gonna hear back from you after you talk to Palmer.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any other public comments? We'll move on then to our reports, Public Works Update, Tree City USA.
Correct. So I think in the past, we had entertained becoming a tree city. We are now a tree city again in a fuller extent as to where we were before. And Sunny, if you'll correct me, I believe there's different levels to that certification. And I believe this is the first time since like 1991 since the city has enacted the correct process to be a full tree city as opposed to, if you can inform me, Sunny, what was the other certification level? So still a tree city, it was a lower level.
Yeah, the Arbor Day Foundation does have a lower level where you're recognized as a tree city, but you don't have all the benefits and grant opportunities and things like that as the full membership. So Dell has gotten the full membership for the city.
Is there one that has that volume?
I think we've got it at like 95.
Okay, then.
I might have to buy a sound bar.
I'd like it louder too.
Noted, buy a sound bar for in here.
So again, this is an accomplishment that it took a little bit of doing to just kind of get, the process nailed down, but it's something that I think that we can carry forward. Now that we know we've got, a process documented for us to do it, we'll budget for the cost, going forward. But I think it's important to note, something that we wanted to do and just kind of go above and beyond what had been done in the past.
Okay. So did he say that?
We're in the next level. We've gone to we've taken care of more requirements needed to be a tree city. So that's the
A
next
full tree
level.
city.
Yeah.
So we've got.
Another half.
Okay. Any other comments on the reports other than what Dale has told us? Okay, well, let's move on then. If we've got that taken care of, we'll go to regular business. A recommendation of Arbor Day proclamation to the City Commission.
Before you get in the packet, chair members of the board, is a proclamation that we recommend to the commission and was passed last year. Where staff is asking the board if you have any edits. Obviously, dates need to be changed, and we've started doing that, but if there's any edits you guys have to the language and the body of the proclamation. Or if you just want to go the same way.
Where's that at?
Page 30.
Lucky page 13. There it is.
Is there anything that needs to be added to the proclamation by any of the board or any of the whoever needs to?
I think it was pretty covered quite a bit.
Well, it doesn't need to be added, but I would say it mentioned the quality of living, the quality of life.
Well, it says source of joy, spiritual renewal.
Palmer, we're going over the city of Palatka. Glad to have you here. Palmer's here. Garden Club. We're just going over the city of Palatka proclamation reading on page 13.
Okay.
To wonder if we want to add or take away of anything in there.
I move we recommend the Arbor Day proclamation as presented by staff.
We have a recommendation. Do we have a second? That a recommendation, a motion to
Motion to recommend the proclamation as presented by staff.
Earl seconds.
Okay.
Motion passed. Okay,
Did we vote there? We didn't vote. I don't think anybody voted. We had a motion and a second, but you got to vote.
All those in favor of the motion?
I,
Aye. Any nays? Motion is passed. Okay,
Do we need to have somebody present at the commissioner meeting to accept the proclamation? So is that,
other than Palmer?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
pulled it, they
no.
pulled it on me last time. That's why
Yeah,
I was
if anyone can attend to accept the proclamation, that would be wonderful. The city commission will meet January the 11th at 6.
Anybody else intend? Um,
I'll be there with you.
Oh, okay.
What time?
Cool. 6.
6, okay. Oh,
Good.
wait,
I'll try to attend too. What day of the week is that?
Thursday.
Thursday.
No, 1 month.
Oh, 1 month, sorry. January 11th. Actually, it'd be nice if. add that to the agenda.
Wednesday?
Thursday.
okay. Moving on with the regular business. B, planning the city of Palatka's Arbor Day celebration of St. John's River St. John's River State College and recommendations to purchase a 30-gallon tree.
Mr. Chair, before you is the outline of the celebration last year, where we partnered with the college. The city is seeking to partner with the college again this year. We do have a representative of the college attending via Zoom, Ms. Susan Sutliff, who I believe is the assistant to Dr. Pickens, the president of the college. So we just kind of want to talk with them if we're keeping the same, room in the college, the same time, who the college and who we want as speakers, pretty much to edit the outline of last year to fit how you would like it to proceed this year. And of course, what tree.
Okay. Any comment?
Seems like last year, Nicole had something. You read the point.
we have the agenda.
We have the agenda.
Okay. Well, I saw that, but it's hard to figure out what this means. Okay.
So, during the tree committee, did we decide on a tree over at the college that we were in?
I think they were gonna suggest, Susan, did you guys have?
Yes, I sent that information to Sunny.
The first recommendation from the college was a rain tree. After further discussion with the city manager, it appears a rain tree is an invasive species. So we have asked the college if they have any other recommendations for a tree. Their second choice was a live oak tree in the amount of 30 gallons. And Del McMillan is available for any questions you may have as to the type of tree and how the city can acquire said tree.
Yeah, and actually, very quickly on that point, we have worked with Fletch's in the past, and they have essentially obligated that, they'd be willing to donate a 30-gallon live oak tree or a crepe myrtle. We did entertain, pricing for.
Bell, we lost you.
The live oak.
But it's not invasive. It's not invasive. It's not. So. I like you.
I do too.
I think their second is a live oak, and that sounds great.
Yeah.
Okay,
They're not as slow growing as people think. It'll be a lot. Yeah, it'll be a pretty tree in just a few years.
Right.
Although I feel like live oaks are planted a lot. There was a study that actually showed recently, I think, around 80% of the urban trees planted in Florida are from species. Or it was something.
Yeah, it's pretty, that's what it's like, too.
Yeah.
Not the most interesting thing you can plant.
There's a lot of people are worried about when some polite unknown comes through and hits the live oak trees, that we're gonna be wiped out entirely. But they damn sure gonna look pretty before then.
Yeah, there are some other, I like the swamp chestnut oak. I think it's really nice.
Did you ever
tree.
see the one down on Main Street?
Swamp chestnut,
Yep.
All right.
and they have an oak.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they got a leaf like that. I'm sorry.
So we're saying yes, they had suggested the rain tree and then the live oak. And since Fetches, I'm sorry, Dell's there. Fetches said that they would donate a 30-gallon live oak. That sounds like that would work, especially since it's on there, it's gonna be on the state, SGR state property, since that's something they prefer.
Okay. We definitely don't want a laurel oak. We want the Corpus virginiana, the live oak, the species.
And not one that's had the center cut out to make it branch, you know. They split.
So who will be picking out the tree?
Anybody can,
Bunches, okay.
but you know, just ask them about those parameters, you know, because we planted around the city here, we planted for years, didn't we? They had the top cut out and they made a real thick, pretty top. But then as they grew up, you just got a gnarled up mess there and they're weak.
They should be all right.
Yeah, they started pretty much planting natural tops of them now.
Okay. Okay, okay. Yep, we're gonna have the welcome with Joe Pickens. Then I'll do the city proclamation. Speaker Palmer will be speaking. Julio will be speaking after that. The horticultural agent, then an inspired reading by Nicole Grace. After that, we'll have the tree planting. And then like last year, we'll have tree games. And Blake, you're gonna do that again?
Yeah, I think this year I'm gonna switch it up a little. Last year, sort of, I was kind of flimsy, so I think I'm probably gonna get something with a bit more craftsmanship put into it. But the idea I had for this year is instead of having the dice that I had last year, having like a cutout of a tree, like a wooden cutout or something, and then have leaves with a trivia question on them. And then it'd be like something like help the tree lose its leaves for, winter or whatever, something like that. And if you answer the trivia question right, you get a little tree to go home.
Okay, that sounds good. And then, of course, after that, that's it. We'll be finishing that up and we'll hear from whether we're gonna go on over and do the Riverfront Garden Club.
Oh, we talked about Connor Kinzer, our president of the garden. We talked about doing it that afternoon, right? Okay, I was confused because I was thinking we were sandwiching it in between that, the State College and Pomona Park, but Pomona Park's not that day, so we just gonna have it that afternoon.
Yeah, that the next sometime.
What time?
Well, we're gonna check out Crescent City to see what the deal is there, to see if we have to sandwich it, interlocking. To see if we have to sandwich it in a good time. If y'all get back with us and let us know so we can decide what to do for y'all.
Well, let's just go ahead and make a stab and say, we don't want to have it real late in the afternoon. So I'm thinking of 2:00.
Okay, how will we, what do we need, do we have to coordinate the college in that, or where do we go here from?
So
I think this is
Go
a college.
What time is this college playing? I should have asked you that first.
It's in the morning, 10 o'clock.
Are we okay with 10 o'clock still this summer?
Yes, that works well for the college if it works well for all of you. And also, if y'all are okay can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if y'all are okay, figured we'd have the program in our Valhalla Hall or boardroom again in case the weather's not the best. And then we can move out to where the tree will be planted.
Just to confirm I heard correctly, last year it was 10:30. We're going with 10 o'clock this year?
We're okay with either, whatever works better.
10 o'clock's fine. But Earl, y'all just let us know so it won't.
Yeah, well, we just did.
Yeah, 2:00 is, that's my,
Yeah,
that's
2
what I'm,
o'clock is out.
just to have a time to negotiate with,
Okay.
Is it, what about 3 o'clock be better? We're just considering travel time since Interlochen has a noon.
Oh, okay.
event, And I think last time.
3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. good for me. 4:30 is good. 4:30 is perfect for me.
To get
So I
dark
I
now.
got something else going on until 4, but I'm covered for that, but,
Oh, okay.
Anytime after probably 2:30.
So 3 o'clock? Just 3 o'clock?
3 could work, yeah.
That's just to let y'all know what we're doing, because it doesn't tie in at all with the Arbor Day for the city. So if we can help y'all out with that, then we don't, right, not, or we don't.
This has nothing to do with the city or, the state college. It's just
This is from
the
Garden,
garden. Club.
Gotcha. Okay,
which we appreciate.
yeah.
Now, I might possibly need somebody to cover for me at that time.
Oh.
Or actually at any time on that day, because I also have volunteers come into the waterworks from the college and, they, I don't know all the parameters on
Wait,
that.
there- You mean for, Viking Days of Service?
Yes,
Susan? So, Arbor Day is the same day as the Viking Day of Service? Yes, it is.
Yeah, yes, it is.
It
We're
is.
gonna be busy that day.
That's right. Yes, ma'am.
Chair Valentine, just to confirm, I reached out via text to the town clerk of Interlochen, and she confirmed that on Arbor Day, they're doing their celebration at noon.
Not to slight them at all, but we're trying to figure out what this meeting's about, and that just gets good to know for us. But this group is not involved unless they're asked to be involved in those. Is that correct? Okay.
And at our garden club tree planting, we would like Robbie and Jonathan to be there, which that day in the office, I told him, I expected them to be there. And not that that means anything. You think you'll there. But,
That
anyway.
leads me into, I guess, what's gonna be my next question for the tree committee. For the Arbor Day celebration at the college, do we want to invite the commission to be present? Is there any role you'd like me to ask them to play?
I would think the commission should.
Somebody,
We-
the mayor's usually there.
Yes, we normally invite the commission.
Yeah, Bobby should.
In fact, the mayor usually does the proclamation. Last year, they couldn't make it.
Yes, so if it's the will of the board that I ask the mayor to read the proclamation, and if she can't have the chair do it, I can do that. It's up to you
Okay,
guys.
let's do that. Robbie did it our mayor did it last time, so
Yeah.
that's good. And what time is Interlochen? So I can write this.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's move on.
Hours is there.
3.
Okay, any other comments next would be the board comments about any of this. Any comments from the board?
As far as the timing for the Arbor Day, I think it rolls through pretty well. And it is also the day for their day of service, so. I'll run over and we're cleaning up along, so it'll be nice and pretty when everybody drives in for Arbor Day, doing a cleanup event around down Moody, so.
Okay,
very-
Do we have to get the city's permission to put a little plaque there like, with some verbiage, sort of like I said? I would think we would.
Dale?
Well, I'm just thinking, I know that there's a memorial bench program that requires, written permission and an agreement. In regards to the tree, that's something that if it doesn't exist, I think would be good to document, at least for posterity's sake. And we could probably create some sort of agreement very easily to allow that to happen. I think, it would be a nice thing to do. And I think having the plaque there should have some sort of approval process though. So, like I said, we'll do some research, and if there isn't a process, we'll make sure there is one so that it could be accommodated.
Yeah, the only reason I would like one is because if it lives, it's gonna be an impressive tree on the riverfront. And, I'd just like everybody to know that the garden club did it.
Yeah.
400, 500 years from now, it's gonna be close.
So it'll be very pretty, 50 years.
Even sooner. We planted one
Oh, yeah.
about smaller than that at the waterworks. It's over 30 feet tall now. It's only been 5 years.
And some of them that I gave, that we got at the, state college, they were as big around as your thumb. And if you look over there at Bill Snyder's old office, they've got a caliper on them now, about like that. And that's been 4 years, 3 years.
Yeah, they're very fast growing, but they're happy.
Yeah.
Don't say
Okay.
if it lives, don't say if it lives, say as it lives.
Any other comments we want to for the board before we move a motion to adjourn? Any motions to adjourn? I make a motion to adjourn.
I'm in picture.
In second,
Oh, sorry, I have one comment before I didn't know. we were
Okay,
doing it
okay,
right now.
never mind.
Sorry. Just for the variety of trees that I'll be bringing, the Florida Forest Service fund, I'll probably be able to bring around, I guess if we're having separate events for the college and the city, right?
No,
No.
no,
Oh, okay.
And you go bring something to the garden club?
I guess so. But probably around 8 to 12 trees per, city or event, basically. And so this year I was thinking maybe I'd bring in some, I try to keep them native, but maybe I'd bring in some like, fruit bearing exotics, like a fig or a pomegranate or a loquat or something. I just want to know if anyone was interested in that.
I would not suggest pomegranates.
Are they invasive?
No, they just don't do very well.
Okay. Are figs good though?
Figs do great.
All right.
If you treat it right, make it happen.
I also know that the figs are,
Like a happy.
I also know that the figs are, sort of like deer resistant, I think. So they're a really good, treated plant in an urban environment, because you don't really want the deer kind
Yeah.
of going around.
Southern crab apple's another good one. That has some fruit on it, that has some utility. We've got one at the waterworks that's doing well. Also mayhaw, it's a pretty interesting tree also.
See if they have those available.
Days.
Yeah, the different, some of the different bays. Loblolly long bay is really hard to transplant, that's not,
Yeah.
the other ones are tough.
okay. Any other comments before we adjourn?
I have a comment.
Not all of them.
Um,
So, whatever.
I had a lot of trees over my back fence. A builder came in and bought the 2 lots around the corner from me and cut down all these trees over my back fence. Put 2 new little houses in there, one's 4-bedroom, one's 3-bedroom. No new trees were planted. Do we have any thoughts on when a new home is built in this town that has no trees? Of making it some way for a new homeowner who would like one to acquire one.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because the city of Tallahassee has an adopt a tree program where if you make a request, you can receive 2 trees as a homeowner every year, actually. It's available for any city resident. I mean, they're small, but sometimes they start out better that way, you know? But yes, we could have something like that. It would need to come from one of the commissioners, and an ordinance could be adopted and it could be made part of our code.
Under our tree ordinance, we address residential construction. But we also address like developers and tracks. Now, I don't know whether the 2
It's
would
not
be
a tract,
considered,
yeah.
no, but I don't know whether you consider 2. But we left them unprotected.
Well, the issue is the funding. If you wanted to do something like
You-
the adopt a tree program,
You started to say something, Sonny, is that correct?
I was just gonna say, in the city's code, the tree protection ordinance doesn't apply in R1AA, R1A, or R1.
which is residential.
Residential, if you have
We made it commercial,
and beyond.
and if you had large tracts of homes going in, we put it in there that they would have to, they could wipe them out, but they gotta put so many inches back for every inch that's taken out. And
Why did you allow them to be? wiped out?
because to engineer a track, they're in it for the dollars.
No, I know all that, but,
Well, okay, that's why,
but why make it easy?
well, the way I wanted it, I didn't want them to be able to cut any of it except just in the footprint. And that, you can imagine how that went over. I'm known as the resident tree hugger of Palatka. And, that didn't go over very well. And, we raised I think the developer was gonna wipe out at the intersection of St. John's and Ziegler, that track that's going in there. There was a huge oak tree in the back, a live oak, and we went to war on it and we got it saved. And it's just that the commission they felt good that night and went our way. You know, you're grinning, but that's the truth, right?
There was a 36-inch oak out there, and we talked about the cottages,
Yeah.
and there's a 36-inch oak out there that was actually was larger than that, but the 36 inches is what our code specifies as the minimum.
It's called, we labeled all of those heritage trees.
Right, and so we were able to work with the developer and get them to actually redesign that portion of the project to work around that tree. I'm saying.
But he didn't lose anything, and he had a lot of people smile at him for doing it. But, you know, I wasn't there that day for the, dollar store down there on, Main Street. And they could have very easily and saved some huge oak trees, but they weren't willing. But developers, they understand the pressure of it. But yeah, that's why.
So
It's,
Carolyn,
it's money. But
Yeah.
not money.
Carolyn, I
Yes.
just wanted to let you know that, that was noted. I came up St. John's and I'm not from Palatka originally and looked at the homes and thought, wow, that looks weird. And it's because it didn't have the requisite one tree of a certain size out in front of the house, which is, required where I come from. So, I don't know if that's something that's a code issue. I had even, is it? Okay, so I was looking at even if we had a tree giveaway, which I've been checking for grants for that, just from a work side of it to give out to new locations, but then there's the issue of maintenance if that homeowner isn't.
I think our tree ordinance addresses how many trees of what caliber and how many shrubs. But, yeah,
Not for residential?
for residential.
Not
See,
residential,
it's
only commercial.
that, I thought we had a landscaper's package. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be nice.
Dell is, I think, still with us. The committee could request that Public Works in their communications with the Arbor Day Foundation look out for grants for trees and things like that as those opportunities come along. And of course, we can pass them along to you guys and have a special call tree committee meeting if there's something that is worthwhile. Dell, I don't mean to speak for you, but
That is an ongoing.
The idea.
We've gotten a lot of trees that way. And I mean, you know, the city just we were actually scrambling, trying to find places to put trees a few years back. And
Well, I know Arbor Day just did have an event, and I shared it through Keep Putnam Beautiful, but where you went online and selected trees. I got 2 different types of magnolias just to check it out, and they came with leaves. And they're deciduous magnolias, but they were 2 gallons, and they came in an upright box It was really nice. So they're out there, but communicating to the public. I don't think I had one other person in Putnam County that took us up on it. But they're definitely out there to find grants to add trees. I don't know how to encourage the residential developers. I don't know, whoever's building the home, that's how we usually do it, or it was done, was the developer had to put it in, they built the house.
I think the garden clubs have means of obtaining large numbers of trees cheaply. I think there's some grant programs, but they're probably gonna be seedling size, I'm guessing.
Larger.
Yeah.
But that was
Mhm.
excellent. Would be nice.
Well, I would certainly be willing to approach these neighbors who I've only introduced myself to. And if I could say there is a tree available, and I will help you plant it. If you were interested, but unless I know that,
So that
I won't say a word.
if we had a program like that for the city and maybe had like budgets been very generous in providing larger trees, that maybe smaller trees.
Smaller trees are a lot easier for a homeowner to, I'd say, maybe
Mhm.
5 gallons would be a lot easier for a homeowner to deal with. And you wouldn't lose that much time.
No, if it's trigger finger size, you're gonna have a nice tree in very few years.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't mow over it.
Any other comment?
Not that other thing.
I don't know how relevant this is or, and this was something I only heard, so take it with a grain of salt, but I've heard, according to the Florida Farm Bill, if there's a developer who purchases a property and then sort of keeps it in ag classification and then harvests it, under that ag classification, they don't have to sort of abide by the same rules as if the property was treated as a residential once they convert it to residential and develop it. So I don't know if that's really.
There's a lot of slack if you're in an ag classification. There's a lot of exemptions and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if what you're saying is not pretty straight off.
Yeah, I worked in Alachua County for the past 2 or 3 months. I was covering both Putnam and Alachua. And one thing they had going on there was developers purchasing properties that were under the ag classification, and they were plantations or forests basically, and then they thinned them to a point where they can still reasonably call them a plantation, and then they develop it basically. Yeah.
If it's ag, it's got a minimum size of an acre. And somewhere on that acre. you're gonna have some trees.
Shared on time, I apologize, but city staff's unfamiliar with that because we do not have any agricultural plots property for the city.
We got rid of our own one. It was out there on 17 there in 17 and 20, no, 17 and 19. Where the Brahmas are.
Just going back to including residential within the code. Is that something that we can attempt again through an ordinance?
Especially if we have somebody that knows a little bit about where she came from and what we can do to implement it. Because we're just an advisory board, so it has to come from legal, what we can and can't do. With commercial, like Earl was talking about, if there's nothing in, which years ago, we tried to do this, Earl. Tried to get it under control, but nothing's ever happened. We didn't even finish our landscape code, did we? No.
So how would that proceed? I mean, would it be a request from the tree committee to have the commission consider a modification to the code to include residential?
The tree committee, of course, not at this meeting unless it's taken as emergency motion,
Right.
but in a future tree committee meeting, this board could make a recommendation to the commission that a landscaping protection ordinance for residential be placed in the city's code.
Or it could be done at this meeting if someone wanted to make an emergency motion.
It could be.
All right, what's your motion?
What would be the emergency of it?
Increased development and pressure is causing,
Yes.
if you guys don't meet for another year.
We used to meet once a month, but I don't know what happened
But you
that
can
year.
meet more frequently, right?
Well, this board can meet as its wish. The problem that we currently have with this board is that the city's code says there shall exist a tree committee, period. It does not say what the tree committee does. So staff is still working for this board to recommend language to the commission of what it would like to do.
For the first 20 years or so, we met once a month. And, we, at that, we used to be assigned the chore of people that wanted to take trees down on residential property over a certain caliber. They had to submit a request to us, and we would go look at the trees and see if it warranted it or not. And we would tell them, no, you can't take it down, or maybe, yes, but just trim it instead of taking it down. And we had I can't remember his name, he was an arborist for UT. But, we had professional advice behind our request, and we used to turn it down all the time. And most of the time, the homeowner still found a way to get around it. They, punched it full of holes or something like that. You remember
Yeah,
the guy there on
but we
Mosley?
won some.
Yeah, we won some.
Well, if I can make a recommendation, you can perhaps meet next month or a time frame that works for all of you. And I can work on drafting an ordinance that would address some of your concerns and have an opportunity, members of the public would have an opportunity to review it and we can take action at that time. But you would need to discuss having again.
What would be a good day for a regular day for a tree committee? Huh?
I'm looking at calendars.
Okay.
I believe if I recall, this board like typically the first Monday of the month, am I right?
Something like that.
At 4, I think is what y'all typically like. The first Monday of the month of January is January 1st, and we'll be closed. Let's not do that.
We kick it on January, kick it back to the,
Second.
to
The second Monday's the 8th, that'll be the week before Arbor Days too, so maybe.
The 8th, the city of Palatka, we have a workshop regarding our charter review at 10 a.m. and it's unknown how long that will be.
Could you meet a different place?
Well,
Well,
we
you
could,
would have city staff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
we usually, it was like 4 o'clock on Mondays.
Oh, okay.
So are you saying meeting before the Arbor Day would be too close?
No, I'm trying to do that. The 8th would be good if y'all wanted to do that.
Can't do the 8th, because you're not city staff,
Yeah.
but this is a Wednesday, you could do the 10th, right?
How long do you need, Jane, to,
The 10th is a,
do you need to come up with some?
That give you enough time.
You said you're gonna try to come up with some.
yeah, I need to lean on.
Squash did do a draft of an ordinance sometime back that you can use as a starting place.
Just to sort of interject here, the Arbor Day Foundation does actually publish sample ordinances and template ordinances. And they also actually publish a guide to writing ordinances that I think includes a guide to like the mission statement for a tree committee, and stuff like that. So, those are all sort of available if you just search up Arbor Day Foundation, tree ordinance. They have.
And
a bunch of
Reinventing the wheel.
Looking at Gainesville's ordinance, they have got a good,
And Hillsboro's County.
when we put together the tree ordinance, and I call it tree ordinance, I don't know what the proper name, landscape ordinance, tree ordinance, it had a name though at that time. But we looked at them all around the area here, Jacksonville, and Jacksonville's morphed into a pretty good one now. But, all the little communities and towns around here, and I remember that Gainesville was killed.
Okay, thank you.
And yes, ma'am, you had.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would suggest that you, if you're going to have a regular meeting, that you make it on a week that we don't have planning board, and HPB or commission. So the planning board and HPB meet the first Tuesdays and Thursdays of the month. The city commission meets the second and fourth Thursdays. So I would suggest respectfully, perhaps someday during the third week of the month.
So that's the week of Arbor Day. So Monday would be the 15th.
That's my living day.
We doing good work. Sorry.
We'd be close.
Probably would not be good to have it that close on a Wednesday, that close to our regular Arbor Day, but
I may also
Why could it not be on a regular Arbor Day meeting?
well, that just, we got 3 that day going on the 19th.
Might I also respectfully suggest that you perhaps push it to the end of February?
Okay. Is there a motion to, what day would be best, February? First Monday in February is the 5th. We do, that'd be good to,
I think that the request was to do it on the third week of any month,
third,
Sunday
the third week.
Yeah.
okay. Okay, that's President's Day on the 19th.
We're open.
Oh,
The only thing I would say about the 19th, there is a youth ambassador program meeting in this room at 5. So y'all would need to be wrapped up by 5. Yeah, that's doable.
So 4 o'clock, February 19th, tree committee meeting.
And that's,
February 19th at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
At the cold office.
what day, what day,
That's February Monday.
Monday, and that's the
We'll do it the third
Monday,
Monday of each month if we're gonna do it.
okay, third Monday.
We gotta be out of here by 5.
I gotta not be, I gotta look at the calendar to be sure, but I think third Monday.
Conflict. Julio has a standing conflict on the.
And this is gonna be at 4 o'clock.
After Monday then. All
Well,
right.
we're not gonna do a third Monday now.
What about the fourth Monday?
no. So the, well, we're on Wednesday today. Does Wednesdays,
Days work better.
so like the 21st?
The
Tuesday,
21st.
so hard. So the 21st would be the third Wednesday. So
Wednesday's
Wednesday,
okay with me.
Third
Okay.
Wednesday, staff has pre-agenda. If there's a fourth commission meeting.
Tuesday?
Tuesday, we have special magistrate hearing at
That was your
1:30.
standing conflict Tuesday?
I have programming, Monday and Tuesday, third week.
Thursday? No, third Thursday? No?
That would be February 15th.
third, oh, right, oh. God. Thanks.
Okay, so what?
Just somewhere at 6.
Third Thursday, but I believe.
All right, so if we start by 4, we should be out here by 5:30.
For travel time.
Oh,
Is it Tuesday a conflict on the third Thursday in January, the 18th?
Start first.
Well, that's what I'm
that's the day before. Arbor
Oh,
Day.
It's also the day before the Arbor Day.
about fourth Thursday.
Well, fourth
That-
Thursday is
that's-
commission meeting.
City
What?
commission.
It's a city, so
What does it hurt if we do it the day before?
she's,
I can't do third Thursday, but you can, I
Meeting
do
week,
not
it's just it's coming for Thursday.
any month.
So can I make a suggestion? The January 17th date actually works. The next date isn't a city commission meeting.
I'm out from 2:30 on January 17th. I mean, y'all can do it without me.
That's what everybody's saying, but we don't. They have fun.
Can anybody do it earlier on the day?
I can do it anytime. If I don't have, if And what I'm talking about is doctor's appointments, because if I don't, I usually get those at 7 in the morning, 7:30 in the morning.
We have this once a year.
Mhm.
Anytime, anytime.
Actually, January 18th, that's the one Putnam, one book opening event at 6 o'clock.
January 30th, it's Tuesday.
But that's in the 6 o'clock.
Right, but if you're meeting at 4, you're gonna be.
No, you're we're not gonna
I'm
lock
gonna
that
get
around.
around.
We're not gonna have to pick another date, so we'll be out of there early.
True, that's what, it takes about an hour to do that.
First Thursday. Third, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, last Monday, Tuesday. I do the programming at 6 different locations.
Okay.
Wednesdays are always the better day.
That's why I was thinking, since this is Wednesday.
What about the 5th Wednesday of January?
The 31st. Yeah, you don't have to schedule a recurring monthly meeting, if you can just get one date to address
The
it.
31st is good with me.
Okay.
Wednesday's good for me, the 31st.
How's that work with staff?
What's the calendar look like? Okay.
Sounds fine.
Okay, let's do it. January 31st will be our next meeting at 4 o'clock.
Set a specific date we said no to.
And that will give me a little bit more time.
And I'll shoot you a, Chair Valentine, something signed for the board,
Okay,
acknowledging that day.
and then we can figure out then when we can meet more and maybe
If
help
you
you out.
want, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
And you're gonna have some preliminary drafts.
Yes, and I will get it to you ahead of time. For your
And I was trying to research while we were going back and forth with dates, I apologize, but I did look back at the minutes of the meetings of the tree committee. It was last on the tree committee's agenda for December 28th of 2020. Staff gave a presentation regarding the tree committee and municipal code, and I believe the handout from the planning director with the code and some recommended edits was provided in April of 2022. So I can share those to your states.
Good.
But that's why some of us don't remember. It's
Maybe
2022, 2021.
landscape ordinance finished up. Who was working on it?
The plan. One year.
Respectfully, Chair, I had given those things out in April and requested comments back from all of you and sent. That's because you're awesome.
They must have just loved it.
Yep.
Okay.
And they were suggested edits, they were not, it wasn't anything that, strike through an underline or anything like that, it's suggested.
Maybe we can get something rolling now.
We need to,
Right. Okay,
I don't want the place to boom or apparently it will.
well, yeah, we've got to come up, close some things out that've been left open, if we can help with that. Okay.
Happy with it.
All right. Well,
So January 31st at
4 o'clock. And then that meeting, we can come up with maybe something more regular. Okay,
yeah.
A motion to adjourn.
I second that.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
I know, my turn.